Hi everyone. So I'm going to do a brief demo on how to put idea down into a thumbnail sketch. So the cool thing about where we are right now is we're in the exploration and experimentation phase of our artwork. We don't necessarily know exactly what we're going to sculpt, where we're going to draw inspiration from, what's it going to look like. And in this stage, there's no right or wrong. It's just about collecting ideas and trying them on. Do they fit? So what I like to do before I start doing thumbnail sketches, I like to jot down some initial ideas of inspiration. So when I think about sculpting, I'm like, what are some things that I could sculpt that might create interesting abstract or semi-abstract forms? Okay, so I'm going to put down wind, song, an ancient civilization. I'm going to put down a broken dance. So I'm trying to think outside the box. Ancient civilization doesn't feel so out of the box, neither does song. Wind I'm kind of interested in, and a broken dance, that sounds pretty interesting as well, because it's like what happens when rhythm falls apart. Now you're going to do 5 thumbnail sketches, and you could use any of these or whatever else you come up with. These are my ideas. Please, don't copy what I do, but the ideas you jot down, you could do all of them, or you might end up doing several sketches for the same thing. So how I might sketch the wind 5 different ways. Then I'm going to start by just jotting down a few boxes. Thumbnail sketches are not about perfection, but there should be some quality drawing to them. Right? We should be able to see what they are. And now I'm going to start here. I'm going to start with wind. So I don't know what wind really looks like, but I have an idea of how it moves and how it feels. Remember, we're in a sculpture in the round, so I'm going to create, you could do any shape base, but I'm going to do a round base. And then I'm just going to start to draw some lines that might feel like the wind as it shifts and changes. And I'm going to turn those lines into shapes. I like how the wind gets kind of hard here. And then I'm thinking like, oh, the wind twists and it turns and it gets louder as it gets stronger and more sharp. But then I'm also thinking about how like the wind kind of wraps around itself with some softer notes. So I'm really thinking about how the wind sounds and how can I capture that. And I'm not thinking too much about my drawing yet. I'm just kind of coming up with ideas. But the one thing I am kind of aware is, how do these forms, how do these shapes interact? What's the push and pull? Do they work together? Do they need more contrast, more tension? This is interesting, but I feel like I need some swirly whirly wind. So I'm going to come through and make this kind of like disc. And this is going to give me a more variety of shape here. Since everything seems to be lines, this disc shape will give me a harder shape or a more stable shape. Okay. And then maybe I want one more disc that's coming behind here. Okay. So even though I'm not drawing all sides, I'm thinking about what it would look like from the sides. And then perhaps I would want something to come up behind these forms. We have these tall. I'm going to bring more height here. I'm not sure what I want it to do yet. This is starting to feel to me interesting, but it doesn't quite feel like wind. I went somewhere else. It almost feels like outer space. There's something extraterrestrial about it, and that's okay. So I started with wind and I ended up somewhere else. So why don't I try a broken dance? So again, I'm going to make a base. When I think of dance, I feel like it starts off light and it dances up and then maybe it shoots out. Now, how would these work as a sculpture? How could that flow? Well, maybe then it shoots down. So I'm really thinking about like the ballerina's foot. But then what's going to happen next? I think I'm going to bring a form down here. So I'm thinking of it like falling off the base, which is interesting. And then coming around. And then I want to think about the other dancer. The other dancer coming here. I'm still not sure how this is broken. I like that triangle kind of reaching up. They're not quite connecting. I like how this one is kind of like more masculine and this one with its sharper angles, and this one's maybe perhaps more feminine. So I'm thinking of contrast, push and pull of two dancers or two energies, if you will. Doesn't necessarily have to be masculine or feminine, but just like that dichotomy of energy. And then I'm wondering, does it need anything else? I'm not sure. So then I have two thumbnail sketches. And now I might go to the next. So what I can do now is I can kind of try that again, or I can move on again. So as we're doing these, we're thinking about form. Sometimes you might want to just start with a form and then build off of it. Okay, so I've created this creature. You don't necessarily need to go with your first ideas. And then maybe this creature has something coming through like so. So now I'm just playing off what I draw, experimenting with that. Maybe it's an eye, but maybe there's sun rays in the eye. So I'm thinking about what's going to be solid, what's going to have cutouts. How that might look in there. Maybe something's dangling here. I'm thinking of those like weird underwater fish. Maybe there's going to be some kind of thing. I haven't even thought about the base on this one, but maybe the base comes down like so, and it's standing on maybe an actual box. And I think it's interesting. I'm liking this one even more, and I kind of let go of any of these ideas up here, and I'm just playing with shape, creating idea as I go along. And so I'm just trying to give you different ways. Start with an inspiration, or start with a shape and let it take form and see what develops from your exploration, much like an advanced doodle. Okay, so I would need to do 2 more. Tomorrow you guys have critique. Please bring all 5 thumbnail sketches to class so that we can critique and get feedback on which ones are conceptually and visually the strongest. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys put to paper. Bye.